Welcome back to the channel. I know that right now the Fara is all the hype in Warzone, but in today's video I'm going to be explaining to you why I think there's a much better gun to use out there. Now, before all the Fara fanboys get their panties in a bunch over me saying that one gun is better than the Fara is a really good gun. It's definitely in the meta, it definitely fits, but I still think that there's one gun that's a better option, and that's the XM4. And I'm going to show you the build for it in this video, and break down the time to kill charts, and show you exactly why I think the XM4 is a better option to use than the Fara and even the AMAX. So first, we're going to take a look at how we build this thing. Now whenever I'm building this, I'm using the XM4 as a long range option. It's also a decent option as a sniper support or a short range option, but there is better guns that you can use rather than the XM4 at short range. So this build is going to be for a long range AR. And first we're going to start off with the agency suppressor. Then for the barrel, we're going to go with the task force. Now this is a typical AR build for a Cold War AR. The optic, the axle arms 3 times, the underbarrel, the field agent grip, and the ammo, the 60 round mag. Now this is another plus, and one of the huge bonuses the XM4 has over the AMAX is that the AMAX has 45 rounds, the XM4 holds 60, so you get in a much bigger mag size. So now we over at True Game Data, and right now I have what I think are the 3 top ARs to use in the game right now: the AMAX, the Fara, and the XM4. The AMAX is highlighted in orange, the XM4 in blue, and the Fara is in purple. As you can see, up until about the 35 meter mark or so, the AMAX kills faster than the XM4 does by just a little bit. But typically in these ranges from up until about 10 to 20 meters, depending on which SMG you're using, you're not going to be using your AR in these situations anyway. So it's not until we get about to this 20-25 meter mark that you actually going to have your AR pulled out. And the AMAX does beat it out slightly. But as you can see, once we hit about that 35 meter mark going forward, the XM4 actually kills faster than the AMAX does now. And this is the ranges that you typically going to be using this gun. So the XM4 is beating out even the AMAX, which even after multiple nerfs is still a really solid gun. Now we move over to the Fara, which this is all the hype right now. Everybody's all aboard the Fara train. And as you can see, it's not a terrible gun at all. I know the Fara doesn't have recoil. It's more of that old Kilo feel where there was other guns that always had better time to kills, but the recoil was so easy to control on the Kilo, that's why everybody used it. That's pretty much why I feel that everybody's going with the Fara, because yes, the time to kill is lower, the recoil is really easy to control. But the XM4 doesn't have bad recoil either. So if you have 2 low recoil options, you just as well go with the one that's going to kill a little bit faster. And as you see, at close range, the Fara is losing out to both the AMAX and the XM4. And then once we hit that 40 meter mark is where the Fara drops off, and it kills slower than the XM4 and just barely slightly slower than the AMAX does. So yes, the Fara is an absolutely great gun. It's certainly in the meta. But I think that the XM4 is being slept on quite a bit. Now this chart's using chest shots. We're going to switch over and I'll show you if you're hitting headshots. So here we have the chart pulled up using only headshots. And as you can see, the XM4 dominates here also. The AMAX kills faster up close again, but the XM4 kills very, very much quicker than the AMAX and a whole lot quicker than the Fara if you're landing headshots. Now nobody's going to hit all headshots unless you're using aimbot, but if you mix in headshots in, the XM4 is still going to be your best option. So now we switch over to stomach shots. This is more of a practical chart because you aren't going to be hitting all headshots for sure, and you might not hit all chest shots either. So here we move to the stomach, and as you can see, the XM4 still outshines both the Fara and the AMAX. Now the Fara once you get to stomach shots, starts to beat out the AMAX, and it's not very far behind the XM4, which tells you that both the XM4 and the Fara are way more forgiving guns than the AMAX is. But still, in a head-to-head contest between the XM4 and the Fara, the XM4 is winning out. Now we move to extremities, and as you can see, once again, XM4 wins out outside of this little sharp 5 to 6 meter range that we have right here. But for the most part, the XM4 is beating out the Fara, and it's beating out the AMAX by quite a bit. So again, that's why I said I don't quite understand why all the hype is 100% on the Fara and it's so quiet about the XM4. The XM4 seems to be the better gun to me. They're both very forgiving, they both have very low recoil, and they both hold more bullets than the AMAX does. So right now, I would say that the XM4 is the #1 AR in all of Warzone. Just not sure why it's being slept on so much. That'll do it for today's video. If you liked the video, learned something new, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching Egu Gaming.